Hello and happy Thanksgiving, Management 1010 Interdisciplinary Leadership students. So the semester is winding down. We just have such a little bit remaining, and in fact maybe the little bit is kind of the last mountain to climb. So I wanted to talk about that because it means that we have 2 exams remaining. I've posted grades for your SLO quiz. You'll see that I did give you credit for one of the questions. There was an error in the answer key. In fact, you did not have the correct answer to choose from, so all students were awarded full points for one question. So it was 15 questions, 45 points. So you were given 3 points as part of that. Thank you to the students who identified that problem and reported it, because you also got a finder's fee. Okay, so in this homing stretch, let's look at what we have remaining. I did want to say thank you for a great semester. Don't give up. I don't want to sound too much like it's a conclusion because you have some hard work remaining. But I did want to tell you, just think of how far you've come, because when we started this semester, it was hot outside. We had 105-degree heat. Now here we are, and the days are getting very short, and it's cold outside, and you're at that spot where we're almost at the break. So hang in there, okay? You can do it and do well. Okay, so let's flip around here to the screen, and we're in pause, and the test instructions for your last 2 tests. And don't forget your if you have not already done it, I'm sorry, let me go back here, to complete the SET confirmation page. That's the Student Evaluation of Teaching. You do that by going into the My Southwest system, and what you're going to do is submit the confirmation page showing that you've evaluated all the courses that you are enrolled in, and you'll do that by going here. You have until November 30th to do that, okay? All right, now, in regards to test instructions, you know that we always put those under the content area. And if I scroll down, remember, oh goodness, all the way back to exam number 1, and that covered chapters 1 through 6. Well, as you might imagine, down here we have exam number 2, which is going to cover what? Chapters 7 through 10. Now, we're also going to talk about the comprehensive final. The word comprehensive means that we go all the way back to chapters 1 through 10. So these are the 2 tests remaining. Why do we have 2 tests back to back here at the end? Because if you read your syllabus, you recall that you have 1 exam drop grade. So if you did well on exam number 1, then your next task is to do well on exam number 2. And if you did do well on both exams 1 and 2, then you know what? Then you could probably get a 0 on exam 3 if you wanted, which is what would happen if you didn't take it, okay? And that would be your lowest grade, and of course I am going to drop your very lowest grade. Now, maybe you didn't do so well on exam number 1, and if that's your situation, then you really need to buckle down at this point and do well on exams 2 and 3, okay? So what's involved? I think this is going to be a little routine for you. Oh, let me tell you what I did. I clicked the link for exam number 2 instructions, and you know to be very patient and the page will display. And hopefully you also know that a really good thing to do once the page displays is to use this little floppy disk button and save this to your desktop. Okay, now I've done that for exam number 2 as well as exam number 3 instructions. I'd like you to read through these. I don't think that there's anything shocking or alarming here. It does tell you that the exam opens very soon, exam number 2, in just a couple days on Tuesday, November the 25th, as early as 5 a.m. And it closes Wednesday, December the 1st at 11:55 p.m. sharply. Remember that you may not stop the clock during this time period. You do have a 120-minute time limit, so once the exam begins, you must complete it in a single sitting, and you must be done in 120 minutes. You have only 1 attempt, and you know that, right? So whatever you do, make sure that you are very serious during that 1 attempt. And here are your instructions for the comprehensive final exam. Again, these are posted in pause in the content area, and so, read through these. Now, the password to exam number 2 was almost, because you are almost done. The password to exam number 3 is done, right? So again, you have the one attempt. I've already kind of jumped up and down about that, so I'll let it stand that once again, you have only one attempt on the exam. It also is 100 points. That means, again, 20 questions, 5 points per question. The difference is that exam number 3 covers chapters 1 through 10. So in other words, all of our chapters, okay? Let's see, here are the dates, and you see those, of course, in pause as well as on this particular sheet. The exam opens Sunday, December the 2nd, and it closes Saturday, which is the last day of final exams according to the college calendar, December the 8th, okay? So again, you have 120 minutes, so once you begin it, just like with exam number 2, you don't have many days to complete this. Once you begin it, you only have 120 minutes. So you must complete the exam in a single sitting. Once you start, don't decide that you need to go to the grocery store, you need to go to church, you need to run around the block. You don't need to do any of those things, just like in a real test. You sit down, you have your book ready, any notes that you've taken, maybe you've reviewed old quizzes and you've printed and organized those for quick reference, and you simply complete the quiz, okay? All right, now one more final note regarding your overall grade for the course. Final grades will not be emailed to you. I actually have several reasons that I do that. One is that I've known students who have printed that off and taken it to different universities who have accepted that because it comes from your faculty as a posting of your grade. And that's really not fair, because if you have outstanding fees with the college, then you need to settle that, okay? So we can't circumvent that process. Those grades have to come from the college, so I don't email those to you. All your grades are available to you in pause, and I'm just reading here again. And again, folks, I try to be fair with you. I keep those grades up to date. You're always aware of what your grades are, so you can calculate your grade. Again, sit down with the syllabus, that's what I do, and you can come up with what your grade is. I'll tell you a really easy way to do it. If you have made mostly A's, then you probably have an A. If you've made mostly B's, then you probably have a B. If you've made a lot of B's, but you've skipped a couple assignments, then you might be down at this very low C, possibly D, depending on how many assignments you've skipped and what the point value of those assignments was. So, you kind of have an idea based on your grades if you've been looking at your grades, and it's important to look at them. Okay, so it's important to use the information in the syllabus, including drop grades and minimum scores, so that you know your grade. All these details are explained to you in your syllabus, and your instructor uses the syllabus, and I really do, as the guide for calculating your grade. So the question, what is my final grade, will not be emailed or otherwise conveyed until posted by the college. So if you email it to me, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to email anything back. And to tell you the truth, I mean, I would have to look at your grades the same as you would. So pull out the syllabus, look at your grades, and you'll kind of have an idea. Well, folks, the only thing I can say at this particular point is, as I go back to pause, is I've enjoyed it. I hope that you have. This is just such a rich course, and it's one that, quite frankly, I really enjoy. And I hope that it's kind of been a self-discovery process for you, and I hope that you've gotten a lot out of it. And it'll be interesting to see over the next couple months as you interact with people, if you find yourself reflecting on the concepts that we've covered. So 2 more mountains to climb, exam number 2 and exam number 3. Don't forget that your final extra credit opportunity is to complete the SET confirmation page, the evaluation, and upload that into the pause Dropbox. If you don't know how to do a screen capture to get that page, the instructions in the Dropbox will actually include that information. So thank you very much, and we will talk to you soon. So once you begin that exam, you cannot close your browser window, you cannot use your back button, you need to go through it very systematically. If you need to go to the campus and use a campus computer to ensure that you have a reliable computer and a reliable network connection, to ensure that you are not going to get struck by lightning or any other reason, because you have, and let me repeat this folks, one attempt. If something should happen and the exam is ended, then that was your one attempt. Okay, so I just need to be clear about that. This was the same policy as for the first exam, but I want to bring this back to your attention for the second exam. The test is 100 points. There are 20 questions. That means that each question is 5 points. Okay, this particular exam is going to cover, now this is exam 2, chapters 7 through 10. It's open notes, it's open book, but it is not open neighbor. So you are expected to complete your exams independently, okay? Now, if you have only one attempt and you know that you must take it during this window of availability, right, then you're going to go click on, starting maybe the 25th, Tuesday the 25th, you're going to click on the exam to open it. And it's going to say, what is the password? And you're going to type in almost, because you are almost done. You're not quite done, but you're almost done. Notice it is in lowercase, and it must be spelled, exactly like this, right? Okay, now I am going to talk about the final exam, but let me talk about it here on this instruction page, and you can read this. Per the syllabus, as we mentioned, all students have one exam drop grade. The lowest exam will be dropped. If you fail to take the final, then you've earned a 0 for that particular test. Hopefully that grade would be your lowest grade, and thus it is dropped. Let me say what I'm trying to convey to you. Some students erroneously hear that the final exam is optional. It is not optional. What I'm saying is that out of the 3 exams, you have 1 drop grade. Remember that before the first exam, I said that my personal strategy would be to do well on exam 1, well on exam 2, to take the pressure off of exam number 3. So I hope that you are in that position, okay? If you are unsure, let me continue reading. If you are unsure if you should take the final exam, then you must take it. I get emails at this point in time, folks, of people saying, do you think I need to take it? Do you think I need to take it? If you don't know, then I'm going to email you back and say yes. I will always answer yes. If you email me and say, do you think I should take it? I'm going to say yes. You're going to say, but what I mean is, based on my grade, yes, you need to take it. I don't know what your grade is. I would have to sit down and calculate it for you, and I'm not going to do that because you are college students and you are very capable people. You are leaders. You are leadership students. You can do it. So that's what I'm telling you here, okay? If you email your instructor and you ask, should I take the exam, then your instructor is going to say, yes, you need to take it. This is my point, folks. Don't leave anything to chance. You're good students. You have put a lot of effort into it. I wouldn't leave anything to chance in these final moments. And I know you won't, okay? So you can do this. You have all your grades. I say here you're responsible for your grades, and I post all those grades into PAWS. I work very hard to keep them up to date for you so that you always know where you stand in the course. So, just go out to the PAWS gradebook, click that link. You're going to see everything there. Then go to the syllabus. What I typically do when I calculate your grades is I have the syllabus sitting next to me and I'm looking at your grades and I read, because I have a lot of classes, and so just to make sure that I don't do something that's against what I promised you, I'm going to look at that syllabus and I'm going to say, okay, we had X amount of drop grades, and you had minimum scores, and we said if you don't meet the minimum score, then your grade would revert to 0 during the calculation, right? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read that syllabus just like you will and use that to calculate your grade. Now you'll see a section in the syllabus that says how do I calculate my final grade, and so use that to come up with your grade. As a college student, folks, you are very capable people. I have seen that from you throughout the semester. So, you're expected to review your grades and to use the syllabus. If you have any doubts, take the final exam. Okay? Now, speaking of the final exam, let me switch over